What's going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's our weekly live stream where we talk about the news, current events, esoteric knowledge, as well as our movie review. With me, as ever, is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on, everybody?
Lots been going on recently, but we're gonna get
nothing big at all, Andy. No news has been.
Are you sure? I could have sworn I heard something. I could be mistaken, just something to look forward to. We'll be talking the Trevor Bauer case. The former Dodger pitcher. Who lived up to the old adage, guilty until proven innocent.
Yep, and still people think he's guilty. So.
Yeah, in the face of preponderance of evidence, people still think that he's guilty.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Well, we'll be talking Israel-Palestine, since that's a big thing in the news right now. But of course, we also have our movie review, and continuing the theme of Schlocktober, Andy's Revenge, we'll be watching the SNL character-inspired Superstar from 1999, starring Molly Shannon, Will Ferrell, Harlan Williams.
Will Ferrell's in there. Yeah. This movie is definitely a lot better than last week's.
Yeah, you despise The Ladies' Man.
The Ladies' Man, I love the skit of The Ladies' Man,
right,
because of how ridiculous it is, but a movie that does not make.
Right.
This at least had some sort of semblance of a real story involved. So it's not a good movie, but it's definitely a lot better than last week. So I wasn't as, having daggers in my eyes thinking about you, Andy. Oh man, Payback's gonna be a bitch next year.
We'll see. Something to look forward to there. But in the meantime, we'll do a little catch up. Maybe some mustard. But yeah, it's this past week was our birthdays, and so I'll I'll open up this time to share our various birthday events. Rob, you had planned something over the weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but why don't you regale the audience?
Nothing too special, just Joyce wasn't feeling the best, but she was like, "It's okay. I want your friends to come over. I don't want to ruin your birthday. I'll just kind of I'll just rest and kind of I'll make an appearance, and then I'll just kind of rest," which is kind of what ended up happening. So I didn't have a super huge shindig or anything, but we made some pico de gallo. We made some shredded up some chicken for quesadillas and stuff, and we had pizza. Pretty much everyone that came brought a crazy amount of beer, so I have enough beer for the next 6 months.
Wow.
And then I also got Santa Claus gifted me with a very special brandy. That I'm saving for a special occasion, because it's one of those where it's an after dinner one after you've had a huge meal. It's from the Benedictine monks. So I'm kind of looking forward to sharing that with some people. I don't want to drink that by myself. Right. I want to share it with people in kind of a special thing. Other than that, I went to another friend of mine that I've met recently. Went with him, and we took a tour of a couple of his friends work at a pretty prominent camera, like for like motion pictures and like television and stuff like that. They do a lot of the rental equipment for all that stuff, and so I got kind of like a run through of like how that all works, and how they do like the calibration of the cameras, and how that whole system works, and how they kind of learning how the sausage is made when it comes to some of the cinematography stuff, and like how all the connections work, and how that all works. And I was really blown away. It was so cool just to be able to kind of see that. And they actually the day that I went, they were getting ready. They were testing all the equipment for this upcoming live event that somebody was doing. So they're testing all the equipment to make sure it works. And so I got a chance to see how that all got done, and it was a really interesting experience. So I did enjoy that. Oh, and then new episode of the Cinemigos dropped as well on Copland from '97. I'm not sure if have you ever seen that Stallone movie, Andy?
I haven't. No, I was aware of it at the time, but I was still very much a young man. So and I wasn't as into movies at the time. So
yeah, it's funny. Like we, just a little preview of kind of like what we discussed is we all Heidelberg is the one that introduced that to the group.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is just one that I'm shocked with the cast list that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone missed this movie, and I know '97 was such a huge year for pictures, like with Titanic and Men in Black and all these other pictures that came out there. And then there's this one, and it is, it's not this typical Stallone picture. This is
I heard it's not like the action, like it's not like an action movie. It's more of a serious kind of drama of like kind of like I think he plays a sheriff. Who's kind of like on his way out, and this is kind of like his last ride.
This feels a little bit more like High Noon and like 3:10 to Yuma, more than like
but it's not like a western. It's like a modern day sort of thing. He plays a sheriff in like a small town in back in the modern times, not like back in the West.
Well, it was also done by James Mangold, who had done the remake of 3:10 to Yuma, and so and he's noted that he's a huge fan of westerns, and he obviously did Logan as well, which is a comic book western using the X-Men. Yeah. So it's kind of that's something that was definitely in his mind when he was creating Copland. And it certainly shows, and it's just it's a really cool movie. The conversation's really awesome. So, if everyone has a chance, go ahead and check that out too. After you watch our show, of course, because hey, you're here watching us. So, but that's pretty much my week. I didn't really do. I mean, I've been doing some like church stuff, but nothing. No real big old blowout or anything like that. It's 37. It's not really like it's like who cares?
It's not one of the big ones. It's not like the Fiverr or the or the big blank O. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, similar with me. Because it was my 39th, and so again like. Big whoop-de-doo, so didn't really plan much for this one. Just had dinner with whoever wanted to have dinner with me, and just spent time with people. I mean, again, over the weekend I was gone. I was at a church retreat up in Ojai, which is good. I enjoyed my time there. Although the first night didn't get to the greatest sleep, so I was definitely feeling it the second day. I was definitely working off a sleep deficit. So the second day I was definitely hating life. I mean, not that but I was able to rally as much as I could. But I couldn't. I'm definitely starting not I'm not feeling it, but I'm starting to notice my age, and I can't hang with the young people anymore. Like, 'cause some of the young people stayed up until like 2 o'clock in the morning, playing games and whatever, like as you do, at retreats.
There are days like when I'll have that run of like energy where I can stay up for a while, and then there's just days where like I can't even make it to freaking 8 o'clock sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, because the first night when we got there, I mean, even though it wasn't a full day at the retreat center, we got there kind of late, but not terribly late, and then we wrapped up, and mostly people got to sleep around 12 or a little after 12 at midnight. And so I mostly knocked out right away, but what was it? But yeah, I mostly knocked out right away, and then it wasn't until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning that I just woke up for whatever reason, and I wasn't able to fall back asleep for like another hour. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sucks.
So yeah. Well, and then yesterday, some friends took me out for dinner. We had Korean barbecue, which is always nice.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be going out to some Japanese barbecue later this week with a friend of mine who couldn't make it. He's like, "Oh man, it's like me and my girl we're not feeling very well. Would it be okay if like I came if we did something like well, I'll take you out to eat on Friday, and it's like we can do like Korean barbecue or something like that." I was like, "Well, why you haven't tried this Japanese barbecue place? You want to try this? Absolutely, let's do it." So, gonna be doing that. Be kind of a little bit of like a celebration of my birthday, but I'm gonna make it. My wife got into she got into CSUN, so she's kind of wanting to finish up her degree.
Yeah.
So
wow, she got into CSUN, huh?
Yeah, so it actually, to be honest, because it's something we've been praying about, and everything just really it worked out. Like it's seeing how like God was moving, and I'm really proud of her. I know she was like the entire process was really stressful on me because she's like, I don't know, am I gonna do it? Yeah, you know how she is. She gets worked up over everything. But no, everything just kind of came together really quickly, and yeah, like the funding for it was there. All her credits transferred, even though it's from like 3 years ago, and because she wanted to finish her degree so that she could. There's certain things that she wants to do with her career that it's going to require her doing that. So I was like, I'm okay. If this is where God is wanting to take you, I'm okay with that. Like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the university system, but for certain things, especially when it comes to the medical field, it's not a waste of money.
Right. Yeah, she's not going to study, underwater basket weaving.
No, she does want to be a medical technician. She wants to analyze blood and urine and all the stuff that like to help people figure out like what's going on with them, whatever. She wants to do that, and plus that's actually going to be a heck of a lot easier on her body with her with condition and everything. So she'll be able to sit when she needs to sit. She'll be able to stand when she needs to stand, and that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, I think I can make something of that. And so we're just kind of praying through all that, and she's worried that like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pass all the classes. Like, it's gonna be fine. You'll put the work in, and God's gonna help you. That's how it works. That's how it worked before. It's how it's gonna work now. So yeah, it's really celebrate that on Friday. But that and other than that, like I'm just kind of I got a bunch of movie reviews that I'm working on. I've been writing a lot actually. Like I actually haven't even played any like sort of like games recently because I've been writing so much for like movie reviews. I've actually been doing some Bible stuff too. I've been writing down a lot of stuff, and so yeah, it's been actually pretty heavy writing the last few weeks. Been writing a lot.
Cool.
But yeah, that's been my week. Yeah, it's God's good, man. That's all I had to say.
Indeed. All right. Yeah, let's get into topics for discussion tonight. Where would you like to begin?
Oh man, they're both bad.
Yeah.
Uh, do you want to start? Do you want to start with the one that's the worst bad, or like the least bad?
Yeah. I mean, well then, I mean that's a level of degrees. But
Yeah.
you know what? Let's start off with the Palestine stuff.
Okay. Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that then. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's no surprise. I think unless you've been hiding under a rock, you in some form or fashion you've heard about the attacks that went on in Israel this past what was it this past weekend actually was when it happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? And which is horrible. I think we can all. I think honestly, like when innocent people, women, children, families are attacked, that is always awful. That's really like where my prayers and my heart goes out to, like, because I mean honestly, there's what am I gonna do? Other than what I can do, which is pray for those people and pray for their safety and their comfort, and whatever way that may come. Um, and at the same time, because we're always now we're getting some of the bloodlust, and I to be honest, if I was living in Israel, I would want to. I mean, it's like enough is enough. We are going to level these people to the ground. And it's like, and to be honest, I completely understand that
Mm-hmm.
sentiment. The and the problem is that like with in any sort of conflict like this, there's always going to be a lot of casualties that are honestly they don't deserve to be taken up in that, but based off of whatever situation they're in, it's going to happen. And especially the way that the Palestinian and because let's be honest, Palestine is not a real country. It's just that it's like it's I won't even know what you would call it. It's not a country. It's some sort of principality, or like it's honestly it existed because Israel allowed it to exist. And yet for the government that runs that place, their entire charter is about wiping the Jews off the face of the earth. And and we have a lot of people within the UN, a lot of people within our government who are very pro-Palestine. We have a lot of pundits on the news that are very pro-Palestine. All that sort of stuff. We've been hearing that forever. The funny thing is now we're starting to see the flips, like, oh wow, maybe these people are not so good. And it's like, no shit, Sherlock. Where have you been? You're just now realizing that. Are you a complete moron? You're supposed it's like and so it's just funny to watch these people all of a sudden flip and realize, like, oh yeah, these people are bad. It's like, and like these representatives I've been supporting, like, they support this people group. Maybe they're not so good after all. It's like, yeah, you think? Uh, but that doesn't mean that to be honest, I think the American response, other than like our sympathies, is, you know what, let them fight their fight. Whatever that may be. Because honestly, I could really, I don't really care. Not that I no, that I shouldn't say it that way, because I do care, but it's just more of like, our I think that the time has come for our country. Like, we've been pouring money out to all sorts of conflicts, all sorts of countries that we should not be giving money towards. We are we are in one of the worst. We're not in like the Great Depression, but like we are in not good times. We have a failing government. We have a dollar that is collapsing. And to be honest, I think we should just be kind of done with these type of conflicts. those people have been fighting long before the United States was a country, and they're probably going to be fighting long after the United States and it stops being a country, however long that may be. That is just something that will always be there. And the foolish thing to think that we're gonna fix it somehow is ridiculous. I mean, the closest I've seen to anyone like coming any sort of having any sort of closeness to that is what Trump did, a couple of years ago, when he kind of like, well, fuck the Palestinians. We're gonna negotiate with these other countries, and if they don't want to play ball, well then, okay, forget them, and we'll do our own thing, and it worked. But it's like, yeah, to think that we're gonna fix their situation by intervening, no, it's not gonna happen. Just like the people that have been fighting over in Russia and Ukraine, that is a fight that's been going on for hundreds of years.
Right.
Probably almost 1,000.
Yeah, you can't complain that America is acting like the world police, and then we stop being the world police, and they're like, oh, why aren't you intervening in this? You can't have it both ways. You can't say, like, oh, America, you stay out of other people's business, and who made you world police? But then, like, when shit pops off, they immediately turn to the U.S. and be like, you're going to intervene, right?
Well, and it's funny too, because now we always make fun of like the leftist pundits and like Twitterati, where
like
when there's some sort of
takes and
but then they all seem to have like the same stupid tweet about like, oh well, such and it's like, yeah, it's almost like you carbon copied each other and are just saying the same thing. Like that's gonna. But now we have the supposed conservative pundits and Twitterati who are doing the same damn thing, and it's like and especially because those same people bitch about how this side does that. So why are you doing it?
Yeah, I mean, over the weekend, what is it? You had freaking Warhawk Nikki Haley going out, demanding the blood of the Palestinians, and then you had gay, kind of conservative, kind of libertarian pundit David Rubin saying like, yeah, he wants Gaza, wiped off the map. And it's just like,
and it's like, well, you have Ben Shapiro as well, saying the same thing.
Ben Shapiro's been saying that they need to kill all the Palestinians for years.
Well, hey, you know what? At least I will say this. At least he has remained consistent.
At least that, yeah. At least he's consistent.
But and listen, am I a Jew? No. And
we have our honorary Jew cards from.
That is true.
Man.
Like I said, and my sympathies are with the people that were affected by this. I think we can say that it is a horrible tragedy, and it is evil what happened over the weekend. I think we can all agree with that, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think it's also horrible, like the conditions that a lot of the innocent people there's people that live in in the Gaza Strip who they're born there not of their own choosing. It's just that's their lot in life. They were born there, and they aren't trapped under like the crazy. They're trapped under this radical government that they're stuck in, and I think that's horrible too. It's kind of like how we look at with we hate the Chinese Communist government, but not the people from the country who are just they're stuck there. Same thing with there's people in Russia who don't necessarily they don't follow Putin, they don't like him, and there's probably Ukrainians who live in Ukraine who think that Zelensky's a piece of shit too. So there's a lot of innocent people that get caught in this crossfire. And you know what? It's like, but at the same, okay, if their governments are going to go at each other, okay, fine, go for it. I personally, if I was an Israeli, I'd be demanding blood too. But as an American, and knowing the concerns that we have in this country right now, and even if times are good, I don't want us to get involved in that. That's their problem.
Exactly.
We can send our emotional support and all that stuff, but that is not our conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
We
And I
can't even
mean,
like we can't shore up our own borders, but yet we are going off to defend other people's borders. Why?
right, it makes no sense. We're like at a time again, like you said, but again, at a time when people are struggling just to put basic necessities, in their cupboards. We're sending billions upon billions of dollars out to Ukraine. Um, and there's not even there's not even accountability thing. We don't know what the Ukrainians are using that money for. Like we're not getting a receipt for our purchases. So who knows what that money is going towards?
We just didn't we just give like another hundred some $1 billion to Ukraine recently?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's why.
hell if I know.
And then yeah, all this money going out, that needs to stop. Honestly, I was really hoping for a government shutdown, and then like it would just shut down for like as long as
Right.
possible.
Yeah, and like the scaremongering about like, oh, the soldiers aren't gonna get their money, or people who getting
They're gonna
Social
get
Security or
that.
whatever.
It
All
does
that
not
shit is automated. All right.
the soldier. So the soldiers get their pay. That's not going to change. Um, my paycheck's not affected. Because we're not taking taxpayer dollars. Well, for the most part, aren't taking taxpayer dollars. It's based off of the revenue that we
Right. That you
provide.
generate.
So my paycheck's not affected. All it does is it stops the money flowing from to the senators and the congressmen and
Right. Yeah. The only reason
you
why.
know
Yeah. The only reason why the Congress meaning both chambers are worried about a government shutdown because it affects them, not us.
it's like I think Nancy Pelosi and her clacking teeth are going to be just fine. I think Joe Biden's just going to be just fine. Uh, and you know what? Maybe if it causes some of these people to get a real job, then so be it.
Right.
But no, I just yeah when I'm thinking about this situation, it's like I think because the what the common tweet is from the supposed conservative Twitterati is like, oh, if you're gonna both sides this thing, you're just a piece of shit. And like you don't know. It's like I'm not taking any side, to be honest. Like I said, my
Yeah.
sympathies
All
are with
right.
these
Like yeah.
people.
Exactly.
It's horrible what happened.
Yeah.
The
But my
the
beeswax is right here at home.
I have enough concerns here, and I'm gonna focus on those concerns. And I'm not gonna be bullied into like feeling some other way.
Exactly. I mean,
Now, I like I said, sorry,
yeah, I saw a really interesting
you
clip
know,
of Rand Paul, from some Ron Paul. I'm sorry, Ron Paul. But it was him addressing. Wait, was he in the house? Was he a senator or a house in the House of Representatives?
I
I think he was a
shit.
senator.
I
No. Wait, I think he was
yes,
a
I believe.
congressman. Yeah, 'cause
No. Ron Paul was, I think,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
House of
Okay,
Representatives.
yeah, because it said that he represented the 14th district in Texas. So
Yes.
yeah, but he talked about how when they're clamoring like Hamas was like somewhat of an Israeli creation, you know,
Yeah.
and so like when kind of like silence the opposition, and then when there was clamoring for democracy in Palestine, they're like, okay, we'll give them democracy, and they voted in Hamas,
Yeah.
and so and then but then yeah, and so it's like it's all of this is kind of like it's kind of like chickens coming home to roost. It's no different from when the United States you know partnered up with Osama bin Laden and the Mujahideen in Afghanistan.
it's like one of those things like where, it, like I said, I'm not part of the Israeli government. I don't know. I know, like, I've heard of like what they've had to go through. As in kind of creating the restored nation of Israel. But there was land that was, I mean, they kind of fought for it to, like, they worked, the UN had parceled out this land for them, or yeah, it was at that point it was the UN that was doing it. It started way back in the early 20th century, but like kind of culminated after World War II, and they had a much bigger parcel of land, and because they chose to try to appease these nations that wanted them dead. It's like, oh, okay, we'll give you this if that'll give it peace. Oh, that last 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe, and then it's like you are giving off pieces yourself, like you're a victim of cannibals, and then you wonder why that they get hungry again. They want to destroy you, and their whole purpose is to destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's like, for me, it's like, why would you give these people anything?
Yeah, I mean it's that it's that whole that old book. If you give a mouse a cookie, and I mean, and just like interestingly enough, they kind of intimately tied to Jewish history, but like with old Mister Mean Mister Mustache, they the England and all the European countries, they tried appeasement. It didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, at first I was like, wait, who are you talking about? Oh yeah, me.
Yeah.
Very clever,
Yeah, I mean,
Andy. Very
I wish
clever.
I came up with it, but yeah, someone else came up with it. But it's just a nice, it's a
Uh,
nice little nickname, Mean Mister Mustache.
old
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah,
Chaplin over there in Germany.
yeah. There's a
The
story that Charlie Chaplin entered a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest, and he only got third place.
that is the
Yeah.
anecdote that I've heard. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. The there was another point I had to, but I mean, yeah, I was gonna go back to kind of the Bible. I mean, really, God, this you look at in the time of like the Exodus and like them uh, into like Joshua and like Judges, the idea that when Israel first occupied the land, they did not exercise what God wanted them to. I mean, well, technically, it really goes all the way back to Abraham, who, instead of just listening to God and trusting Him, ended up kind of doing
He listened to him
doing
wrong.
God's will his way. Yeah, well, that's the other problem. The But then that also culminates in when they're reoccupying the land that God had promised, and it's like you need to eliminate you know uh, the these religions and people groups like completely, otherwise you will go back into like an idolatry. And sure enough, that's what happened. And then this is what causes it happened thousands of years ago, and now it's happening still today. And like that's what I'm saying. Like when we think of like the United States has such hubris where it's like we can fix this problem. It's like,
Yeah, 'cause we
no,
got
you
grit.
can't. Yeah, it's like you think that you're gonna fix 3,000 years of just people who
Yeah.
just are hate each other,
Yeah,
even
it's a
though like
blood
they
feud.
are.
It's vampires and
Yeah.
werewolves.
Right. That's a great way to put it. You and your
I know.
Twilight
Yeah, me and my
knowledge.
don't let anyone know that I write Twilight fanfic.
Oh, ew.
I was more referencing like what is it? What's that one with Kate Beckinsale?
Oh, that's
Underworld. There you go.
yeah, Underworld.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks good in those movies, but man, those movies
Yeah.
are Interesting. So what you're telling me is that you like sparkly vampires,
No, I like Kate
in the
Beckinsale
Twilight series,
vampires.
or like Interview with the Vampire, or were all those Anne Rice ones?
They totally gate up Interview with the Vampire. I actually liked the movie Interview with the Vampire. The TV show I refuse to watch. They made
There was
it.
a
Yeah, they
TV
made it
show.
into a TV
I only know.
series on AMC, and of course, they did the whole race switch with the Louis character, and now Louis is black for some inexplicable reason.
Well, maybe they wanted to make their own version of Blackula, which is a awesome fucking movie, by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen Blackula. You and I, we have kind of become fans of blaxploitation.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we like Boss, we like Shaft.
But I dare say that Boss Nigger is not blaxploitation because it was Fred Williamson who wrote it and directed. I mean, you could say that it's in the style.
Well, I mean, Shaft is also directed and written by a black guy.
Well, then, that is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like blaxploitation. It was not necessarily always like written by like white guys doing it, like just for the sake of now a lot of the studios would they would finance these things, but it's like, well, you know what, like these movies are, they're making some sort of money for us, so yeah, we're gonna finance these things. They were very popular, but no, when it comes to Blackula is actually a really fun movie. For blaxploitation horror, man, I'm all for it. You should check it out. It's really fun.
All right. I'll get. I'll put it in the queue.
Yeah, but I can't. But it's funny that which character? So I'm trying to remember an Interview with the Vampire. So the show, they turned the one character black, and I'm trying to remember.
Character.
Oh, Brad Pitt's character became black. Okay.
Yeah. Because of course, the Tom Cruise character, Lestat, he's like this raging psychopath, so he had to stay a white guy. Because
of course,
in the movie, and I think, because I don't know about the books, I haven't read the book, but in the movie, yeah, Brad Pitt's character is the one who's like constantly fighting, his nature as a vampire, and refusing to, drink human blood or take human life. And Tom Cruise's character is the more like psychopathic one, who's like just all who doesn't care and just like kills indiscriminately. And it's like constantly trying to get Brad Pitt's character to embrace his vampire self. So of course, when they made the TV show, they made they had to have the conflicted one, or the good one, quote unquote, be a black guy.
The other, a little bit of another side tangent here. You know what I just realized that I had never like put them together is that Blade is essentially Shaft and Blackula just like slammed together.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's like, and those are two awesome characters that are just kind of like, and Wesley Snipes did fantastic as Blade. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the new one.
If it ever gets to that point, I mean, I'm not convinced that that the next phases in the MCU are going to be all that great.
Yeah, it's been real hit or miss.
I officially, after Endgame, just like, okay, fine, and then I did watch the Spider-Man, Far From Home or No Way Home, yeah,
or No Way Home.
I enjoyed it, all right, but yeah, after Endgame, I was like, okay, I'm done. Like this was a great achievement in cinema history. Having a shared universe, with going on like 20 different characters, like 20 plus characters. But there's, I mean, because like what other universe-ending threat could there be? I mean, yes, I mean there's a bunch of other characters you could utilize, but I don't. I mean, what they've been coming out with lately, particularly, I mean, maybe it's not fair to compare the TV shows with the movies, but and in the third Ant-Man movie, or I should say, the Wasp movie featuring Ant-Man, um, they're trying to tout Kang as this Thanos level threat, but freaking Ant-Man kicked his ass in his first appearance. So like, how are we supposed to take him seriously? It's like if Thanos came out in the first one and the Avengers kicked his ass, and it's like, oh, I'll be back, you pesky Avengers. It's like, you already got your ass kicked, bro. You're not a threat. You're not. You can't be seen as a universe-ending threat.
You've now become Starscream. Or Skeletor. I'll get you again, He-Man.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, but to bring it back to like our topic, I really hate to use this word, nuance. There can be some nuance here. Can we denounce the evil that took place this weekend, and that is occurring right now? Absolutely. Can we care and pray about the people that have suffered or died because of what's going on? Absolutely. Can we say that like that the Hamas government is evil and I don't really care if they die? Absolutely.
But can we say that because of certain treatment by the Israeli government, that they felt like they were put in they were left with no other choice but to attack? Okay.
I'm not even so sure. To be honest, I'm really not so sure about that. Now, are there things
well, I mean,
that
if you look at the area that the Palestinians resided in, it's like it's all but fenced off. I mean, there's like a no-go zone like on either end, the north side and the southern side. They what is it? There's basically a tiny narrow strip of beach that they're able to access the sea from, but it's like any other where else, they'll the Israeli warships will blow any boat out of the water that tries to come in.
I'll just say this: you look at like Israel itself; they have made that area pretty nice. You look at the rest of the Middle East; it is dog shit. It looks terrible. There's really nothing outside of maybe like a few areas. It's a wasteland. These people have kind of turned their little section of land into a wasteland.
Right, but I mean, it's so hard for me to even muster up an iota of emotion. Not to say that not that I don't care about like the people suffering or whatever, but the whole politics of it is just so boring to me, and it's just like these people, this government sucks, and this government sucks, and it's like and I'm trying my best to again, like, I mean, I know you hate the word, but have a nuanced take of it, but it's just like you guys kind of did this to each other, and it's like, okay, whatever, like. Yeah, the Israelis made their patch of sand like better than the everyone around them. Okay, fine, but like, did they also? But did the Israelis make it kind of hard for anyone else to make their patch of sand like nice? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that there's not enough reason for me to like. I don't want to send American troops over there. I don't want us
to. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. I want no American involvement whatsoever in this.
I want them to handle it themselves, and whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, because people, used to, get on America's back about interventionism and nation building and whatever. But then, when shit pops off and we don't come, rushing to the aid of, the perceived underdog, then we're the bad guys, or the United States is the bad guys. And you can't have it both ways. You can't say stay out of our business, we'll take care of it ourselves. But then when shit pops off in your neck of the woods, you can't come, crying about it to the United States.
And here's the thing too: is like this doesn't mean that I hate Jews, because I don't. And it's also like I'm not supporting Islamic terrorists, because I don't like those people either. So, like I said, you can have a nuanced position. Be like, is it the quartering kind of put it pretty well. It's like I'm for neither side. I'm for America. it's like that's as simple as you need to get.
Indeed. Yeah. Again, politically, it's hard for me to muster up a single iota of shits or fucks. But of course, like on the other end, like for the people, yeah, I have all the compassion and sympathy for the people who are suffering, attacks and just mayhem. Yes, I have compassion for them. But like for the whole political situation, I just cannot drum up one fuck to give.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not telling the people to not like that were affected by this that they shouldn't want vengeance, because I completely understand that. It's like, we're not accepting some sort of like truce or an apology for that. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, that's totally fine. I get it. So, but like I said, you handle it. Someone punch you, you punch them twice as hard back, so it never happens again. There you go. Take care of it. So yeah, that's all I had to really say about that. Guys, it's okay. You can have kind of like a middle ground position and not be supporting Islamic terrorism and not hating Jews, and you just don't want to have our country get involved. Right. Pretty simple.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as much as I am not...
That's not the popular position, but it's probably the best position.
Yeah, and as much as I don't believe in, like, neutrality, like, Hamas did not attack the United States. And Israel did not attack the United States. Or Israel did not let the United States get attacked. So...
When our country starts action...
when there are sandals on American soil, then I'll start caring.
Well, the reason why I say this too, it's not because like I don't care about like these countries to a degree, but it's like our country doesn't even care about its own borders. Why the fuck do I care about these other countries' borders, protecting their borders, their walls?
Yes, exactly. Very good point.
Yeah, let's maybe like shore up our borders first, then we can start talking. Maybe. But speaking of blood-sucking vampires, let's get into this Trevor Bauer story.
Nice transition there, Rob. Nice transition there. Let's do that.
Yeah, so just a recap here, because it's been so long now, I think people have kind of forgotten how this story came about. Did you remember hearing this story when it first broke a couple of years ago?
Not really. I mean, again, because I don't follow sports that much, so.
Okay. Well, okay. So I'll piece it together from what I remember, and so the initial claim was there was supposedly like this interaction with Trevor Bauer, who is he is a fantastic pitcher. He was actually, I think he was drafted number 3 overall. Kind of struggled a little bit early on in his career, but burgeoned into this powerhouse pitcher, won the Cy Young Award, and then really got awarded a huge contract by the Dodgers. It was one of the largest contracts given to a pitcher. So it was like, and plus the Dodgers needed a great pitcher, and I was like, oh yeah, finally we got this guy. This is gonna be great, especially with like some of the guys that we had backing him up. So that was awesome, and he. Then all of a sudden we hear this story about how there was this like allegation of like rape and abuse that Trevor Bauer occurred, and like, oh, they they got involved in like some sort of weird sadomasochistic, like, you know, choking and all sorts of, you know, beating up and pretty much like and that like and the from what I remember, the media was claiming that it's like, oh well, you know, he was saying that, oh well, that's what she wanted, so that's what we were doing, like that was kind of the agreed upon thing. And it's like, and so at first I was, well, first of all, I am not just automatically believing in a lot of these accusations, because how many times have we gone to like the falsehoods, and which is, we talked about this before, that is horrible for actual victims of this stuff, because I want to believe people who are going through this, because they deserve justice, and those people need to be that perpetrate those things need to be strung up by their balls and beat to death, essentially. But more often than not, well, pretty much I would say, like, of all the mainstream media, you know, that putting it on the mainstream news, 99.9% of that has been pretty much proven to be dog shit. In this case, you know, all of a sudden it kind of went away for a while. Didn't really hear anything. But Trevor Bauer, he was cut by the Dodgers. He was cut by the league. Pretty much suspended. Didn't get any of like his contract, a lot of his contract that he was owed. And so, you know, and now has lost 2 years of, you know, his career. I mean, he's been pitching in Japan, because what the news didn't tell on any side, ESPN or whatever, is that he was never charged with a crime. The restraining order that she had put on him, which is pretty much usually just like, yeah, of course, yeah, they'll sign it, whatever. They refused it. That's something. Oh, why was it denied? And then now, like, what has come out is not only was he not charged with anything, did he not, you know, the court found him like not guilty. There's no case here. And then there was like, you know, there was a lawsuit. You know, he sued her for like, hey, you essentially like damaged my career. I'm gonna come after you. You know, and it was more of a, and it's like, oh well, why don't we settle? It's like, no. There's gonna be no settlement here. Like, I'm gonna take you, like, because I didn't do anything, and I'm gonna make sure that you get $0, and I don't care how much money that cost me, because he has fuck you money essentially. So what came out of it is that not only did nothing happen. Yes, did they have did they have sex? Did she spend the night at his house? Yes, but then the text messages that like came about like prior to that meeting, the video footage that she took of herself, like literally the morning after all these events took place, no bruise, no cuts, no bruises,
basically no signs of distress,
lacerations. That's what I was looking for. None of that stuff. There was nothing. There was no sign to be seen, and all the evidence points towards her telling her friend about how she's like, yeah, what should I steal from his house? You know, how should I take advantage of him? Blah blah blah. It's like,
right, and she even made an implication that this wasn't even her first time doing this sort of thing. You know, she said, "Oh, on to my next victim."
Yeah, she has zero regret for what she did. She still plays off as a victim, and honestly, like, Trevor Bauer, shoot, swallowed off. Trevor Bauer went to Japan. He's doing fine there, but like that's the Nippon League is not the major leagues. You're not getting paid as much over there. But yeah, his sponsors went away, his contract went away, and nobody in Major League Baseball touched him because of because a lot of people still think this guy's guilty and he's not. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if I were him, just because like these guys cost him millions of dollars, I would be suing Major League Baseball and I'd be suing the Dodgers, because
I mean, on the basic level, they reneged on a contract.
Yeah.
But then they also rushed to judgment before it even was able to be adjudicated.
Nothing that he did. He was never charged with a crime. Not even like he wasn't arrested at all.
He wasn't arrested. He wasn't booked. He was never arraigned.
Yeah, none of that happened. And not only was it proven in court that she was a liar, for the criminal case or whatever, or they didn't like take it to trial because like there's no evidence here. There's nothing happened. But then in civil court, which normally there would be some sort of, they would push for settlement, or that she would normally win something. She won nothing, zero. And more, like I said, like he spent millions of dollars to like expose some of the stuff that was illegally hid from his defense team, all the discovery. So honestly, like, this man is owed a huge apology. Because I was like,
and, and he should go after the lawyers, like the chick's lawyers.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, I was like, I thought, like, oh, maybe he was into some weird, some kinky stuff. Like, I know he's kind of he's a little bit of a weird guy, but I was like, oh, maybe he was into that stuff, and like there was this agreement, and decided, kind of, oh, I don't want it anymore. I changed my consent. Now I'm like,
right, yeah, no, like they're right in the middle of the deed, and like she says, no, I don't want to do this anymore. But it's like, you know.
But none of that happened. I'm just like that. You wonder why why less people are getting married. You wonder like why a lot of guys are. I mean, we've kind of made fun of some of the OnlyFans simps and the guys that are on, just kind of jerking it and just doing whatever. It's like, this is why. Yeah, maybe they're not at the level of a Trevor Bauer, but any sort of success that you have, the rules are not fair, and you have predators like this that will come after guys that have any modicum of success.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of we discussed it a little while ago about like how red pill content's been kind of blowing up recently, particularly about the dating dynamics between men and women, and yeah, I've been watching some of it, and I think one of the most popular ones, the Fresh and Fit podcast, they're always talking about how like the trad cons are always telling, and I tend to agree with them on this one point, that trad cons are always telling men to get married regardless of how women are behaving.
Yeah, I know it's funny. It's funny you brought them up because they were actually they were just on the Crowder show, and I was like, because I had heard about them, but like I hadn't actually hear them like really kind of like dive into some of this stuff, because they were actually talking about like this story, and like there was some of these like TikTok.
Yeah. I've been following them for a little bit. And they do a lot of this kind of like they talk about the stories, like with Trevor Bauer and like a lot of these cases. I think recently, I don't know who this kid is, but I guess he's like a really popular streamer on Twitch or something, and he's like 19. He's very inexperienced, and this OnlyFans girl like started hit him up, and because he doesn't have experience with women, like and like because like she was like so or she acted like she was so into him that he kind of fell for it, and and so like this girl is now like siphoning off like his audience, like for her OnlyFans.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then like he's like completely blind to it, saying like, oh, I think she really likes me, and she told me that she never like felt this way about a guy before, and blah blah, kind of like all like the rookie mistakes, that the rookie lines, or the lines that rookies tend to believe. But in the end, it's so yeah, because the guys on the Fresh Fit podcast, they had an intervention for him.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't, I'm not sure if like I wouldn't consider myself like a tradcon. Yeah, like I said, I'm. Is that the ideal way? Sure. Obviously, but nowadays the rules are not equal at all, and to be honest, especially like, when I'm out and about, like before I was married, I'm not really looking at like talking to a bunch of girls or whatever, because at the same time it's like I don't trust these people, and I can figure out within about like 5 minutes whether this be someone that I can have an interesting conversation with or not. And if I can't have an interesting conversation with you within like 5 minutes, I have zero interest. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't care how how good you look, but you're an idiot. Like, I don't want to hang around with an idiot. And there's, like I said, now, especially nowadays with like I don't want to, like I consented, but now like I'm not consenting. It's like, yeah, well, you know what, fuck off, bitch. Like I'm not gonna play those games. Like I don't want any of that. I'm not like for me, I wasn't like trying to sleep around with as many people as I could, but yeah, it's just I would say like I tend to kind of more fit under like kind of like what these guys from Fresh or Fit were like talking about. It's like that makes a hell of a lot more sense in the modern world. It's maybe it's not like the most biblical way to live, but in the way that the rules are right now, you have to protect yourself in some form or fashion.
Right, and it's like because like a lot of like I guess those on the right, have responded to like their clips from their podcast. And one famous being Ben Shapiro, because and he's one of the guys, Myron. One of his advice for men is to go to the gym, get your money right, but then also to sleep with 50 women.
Yep.
And and Ben Shapiro, that's horrible advice. You should say one woman, blah blah blah. And I didn't sleep with 50 women. It's like Ben Shapiro, met his wife at a very different time, in our society,
The world
and
doesn't work that way anymore.
the world doesn't work that way. I mean,
Unfortunately,
arguably, it didn't even work the way Ben Shapiro thinks it worked when he, got married or when he found his wife.
it wasn't that way.
It wasn't even that way. Yeah, it wasn't even that way when, at the time when Ben Shapiro found his wife. But he just got lucky because, again, I think he had the benefit of, being in a pretty insulated community, and one that's kind of self-selecting for in-group preference. Jews. But
some people get real lucky. They find someone that they like, that just they click, and maybe they met in high school, maybe they met in college.
Right, and but also Ben Shapiro, he had a bunch of bona fides already. He had a bunch of accolades already to his name. Like he was like the youngest kid to graduate high school or whatever, and get into like UCLA, and then go to Harvard, and then he played violin on Larry King or whatever the fuck. So he was already a pretty well known name. All right,
yeah.
within certain circles. So he was already pre-approved for his wife.
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro already had a level of status and success that made him attractive for his wife to then marry him.
If he didn't have those things, maybe
exactly. And so with him, I'm not necessarily agreeing with the whole Sleep with 50 Women's thing, but I understand the reasoning behind it. And yeah, of course, I advocate for more of a biblical view of marriage, but then again, these days women aren't getting the same training as they used to. They're not getting the same social reinforcement as it once was. So now, so they're not told to keep your purity. Don't move in a manner that you could be confused for a whore. Have at least 3 recipes memorized. Kind of basic things that I guess we're kind of the norm. 30, 40 years ago, but nowadays, those days are gone. And so, when I hear these tradcons are more the people on the from the right coming out saying oh no, you should do that. Marriage is the proper way, and you should marry a woman, and and it's like
they have this
but you should marry a woman and disregard her the way she moves or her past or whatever. But it's like that's horrible advice. That's dog shit advice.
Yeah, and it's like, but they have this self-righteous attitude about it too, which kind of pisses me off. It's like, yeah, you know what? You got lucky, man. And to be honest, I feel that way. I feel very I'm a lucky guy. I met the right person. It was not an easy journey at all. It was a pain in the ass to get to where I'm at now with my wife. But I'm also not I'm not trying to lord it over because oh well, I was able to do it. So what about you? You need to get your life right and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean with the internet and with the advancement of the dating apps, it's no longer that you're competing with just the men within 5-10 mile radius of the woman. You're competing with everybody in the world, essentially, every man in the world, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my horror stories of the dating apps. It's like,
trust me, I know.
It's it's because it's not just me that's hitting them up. It's all these it's again literally the world population of men hitting up these women. And I try to have conversations with these women, and it's like pulling teeth.
But that's what I found too. Where I'm not even talking to someone just because I'm even remotely interested in them. I'm just oh hey, how's it going? I'm at church somewhere or whatever. And I'm just oh hey, how's it going? And they just look at me. It's oh, how dare you talk to me? It's fuck you, bitch.
It's just I'm not. It's listen, I have zero. Because it's you want to find a man, but then you disregard the people, the men that are around you. Saying oh, I need a guy like this or like that and like that, and you're describing 3 guys at your church, but you don't talk to them, or you don't try. I mean, not to say that you have to be loose or whatever, but just being friendly and talking to men that are around you would significantly open up your dating pool, and not just not just some guy that's on the other side of the world who's offering to fly you out, for as just as friends, but then surprise, I want you to suck my dick.
Yeah, it's guys just want someone with having a nice demeanor, just where you are a kind person. I think most guys be yeah, I would like somebody that is kind, somebody that actually is does care about.
Yeah, I think the best would be sweet. We're looking for a sweet woman.
Yeah, that's pretty. You're somewhat attractive and you're a sweet person. I think that's pretty much the.
Right, you're not annoying.
The criteria right there.
Yeah.
And
pretty, sweet, and not annoying.
And ladies, if your guy is not only willing to listen to you, like not only like just sits there and like just hears you blab, but they're actually genuinely interested in what you are saying, and at the same time they do occasionally get you flowers, and they'll do some, they help you out with like stuff around the house, or kind of you know have do all those sorts of things. Guess what? You have a good person, a good man there. But like people don't want to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Like
women are the most delusional about what they want, because they talk about like, oh, I just want a good man, and da da da. It's like, then you go after the toxic guy, the one that that doesn't return your texts or your phone calls, or is constantly leaving your messages on red, or.
Oh, but he buys me like nice things. That's why you're with. Okay, so that's why you're with him. So you're a gold digger. You're a gold digger.
But not even that. It's like the guys who treat who like really little, like they literally hit you up like at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's like you up.
Yeah, exactly. You up. But then you go for them, but then you ignore the guy, like what Robert was describing, as like the guy that will actually like take some interest in you.
And it's not like he's not expecting like any sort of like sexual encounter with you, but he actually just like is.
I mean, I would argue he is, but he's just better at hiding it.
Well, it's like if we've all watched When Harry Met Sally, so it's like yes.
Right, yeah, because like the whole idea that men and women can be friends is not true.
Which is that is very true. Like I mean, there are.
Here, I'm also willing to offer up this caveat. When you're single, you can't be friends with a woman.
Yeah, I have honestly like there's friends of Joyce's who, yes, are they attractive? Yes. Are they nice people? Yes. Am I sexually attracted to them in any way? No, I'm not.
So yeah, I mean, the advice that these tradcons will give out about like, oh, just get married, and like getting married is so easy to do in these days, like in this day and age. Where it's like, oh, like don't be so judgmental, and give the hoe a chance or whatever. It's just like, no.
I think a lot of people expect it to be like, who's that? I'm trying to think, biblically, there is one of the prophets of Israel, who was told by God to marry the prostitute Gomer. Oh, what the fuck is his name?
Hosea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Hosea and Gomer. Yeah, it's it's like they think it's gonna be like that, and it's just that's not how it is now.
Exactly, and that's a unique case because Hosea was a prophet, and he was commanded by God to do it. There's no teaching, or there's no epistle talking about how a man should get with a sexually immoral person. Actually, it's actually the opposite.
It's like give a whore a chance. That's not a typical mandate that I've heard of.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the whole idea of the reason why God gave that command to Hosea is like the prophets, they were the mouthpiece for God, and God was making a point that Hosea was kind of like his
analog. Yeah, Hosea was the analog for God.
This is how I feel about my children. My children are prostitutes who have given themselves away to all sorts of false religions and false beliefs. Yet I still pine after them and will go after them no matter what. That was the point of that book in the Bible. Mm-hmm. That was not this was not the.
Yeah, that wasn't the prescription. That wasn't a prescription.
Yeah.
Hosea was an abject lesson, not a prescription.
And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that there can't be women who have had a certain type of lifestyle, but because of God changing them, there's some sort of God just kind of like hits them, and they're saved, and they've changed. They've lived this lifestyle, but they've changed their life around. That's not to say that that's in the past. That is their old self, and yes, they're gonna have to deal with that at times, but that doesn't mean that they are a new person. And sure, there can be some happiness found, and God will maybe send them somebody that it's like, hey, you know what? That was the past. This is the present. What's happening in the present?
Right. I mean, yeah. I don't like how like in the red pill spaces where like they pretty much discount these women with with a promiscuous past, because in Christianity, yes, there is redemption, right?
Yeah.
But there is redemption, but I realistically I would not like for those types of women, and like I wouldn't I wouldn't bet on getting the ideal.
No.
I mean, yes, are you if you change your life, turn your life around, you repent, which means to turn yourself around, turn around and go in a different direction. If you repent and you you receive like the Holy Spirit, and you get this, the circumcision of your heart, and you begin the process. You get the justification, and then you begin the process of sanctification. Yes, you are redeemed. You are made. You are made clean by the blood of Christ. But that doesn't mean that your past will not be a factor for your potential partner.
Yeah, it's everyone's past is a potential issue for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like for a guy, I think the functional equivalent would probably be either a criminal past or drug use.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like yeah, and a pure woman, who who then is courted by such a man with a past, like yeah, she's gonna take that past into account.
Yep.
So it's that would be the functional equivalent for a man.
But yeah, man, it's just we live in a really strange time, and it's unfortunate that it's the playing field is not equal for men. Sorry, it's not. Sorry, ladies, it's not.
Absolutely.
And what, if you want to go around, continue sleeping with people until you are, 30, 35, 40.
Until down there it's like it's like the hot dog thrown down a hallway.
And then you're just you're just like an athlete. Like it's like, oh, you're past your prime. Sorry, buddy. You're out of the majors. Mm-hmm. That's that, and then you realize that, oh well, this lifestyle kind of sucked. Like I had fun for.
Another great term that Myron from Friends Fit came up with was or kind of comparisons, like women are gamblers.
Mm-hmm.
They want they think that they're just one more hit that on the on the blackjack table, or one more spin of the roulette wheel, and they're gonna make it big, until one day they realize they're down to their last chip. It's the sun's coming up, and everyone else has gone home.
Yeah, it's like they all think that they're gonna become like the Real Housewives of whatever city that they're in, and it's just like no, you're not. Sorry, you're gambling with your body. You're
gambling with your happiness.
Yeah.
Like you really want to go, dude. There's so many examples. I mean, chief among them, the person who I think if not started, was one of the biggest proponents of this kind of city girl lifestyle. The chick that wrote Sex in the City.
Oh yeah, she regrets it. I was like,
she this was a few years ago, but it came out that she ended her marriage basically fell apart. I don't know who initiated the divorce, but eventually her and her husband got divorced. But she was 60 years old, didn't have any kids.
She was alone.
She was all alone. And she said that that was her not having children was the worst mistake she ever made.
Yeah, it's like, and I was gonna make the comparison, like, ladies, do you want to be Chelsea Handler for God's sakes?
Oh yeah, and her fucking cringe, oh, I get to go wherever I get to go to Italy because I have no kids, and all that bullshit. Like, oh, I get to go sleep with this hot model guy, and it's like does he actually want you?
So here's the thing: the only reason that they are potentially sleeping with Chelsea Handler is because she's kind of a celebrity.
Right. Yeah, and she's a sugar mama.
Yeah.
She has a lot who are just starting out in the industry, so they think that potentially being caught with her by the paparazzi or whatever will help boost their. That is they're young, particularly young men getting with Chelsea Handler. That's a career move.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I mean, she doesn't look too terrible, I guess. Like I can dig down this cougar. Maybe I'll get some more Instagram followers. Maybe
TMZ will snap a picture of us together.
Yeah, it's like, what the. It's. I mean, but let's say Chelsea Handler did not have, she was not a celebrity, it's and she was living this lifestyle, her life would have been over 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She would have
been eaten by her cats.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's like, guys, don't let these crazy gold digging whores try to take your money and your reputation, because that's what's gonna happen. Be more careful.
Yeah.
At least I get it. You kind of want to have if you have any, it's one thing if you have, you're not really famous, but you have success and, you have a fair amount of money. That's one thing. You still have to be very careful. Mm-hmm. But if you are a celebrity, if you are a top athlete or a movie star or whatever, you have better be damn sure. You got to check these chicks out, man. Don't fall for
it's one thing. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing that if you were with this girl before you were big, and she came up the ladder with you. That's one thing. But if you are single and then you come up and you make it big, and then this girl's trying to get with you, at the top, at the finish line, then you better have her ass carry your bag for you.
Get a private investigator at that point.
All right. No, I mean Yeah, just like even if you're just, modicumly successful, like say you own a business or whatever, and it's like reasonably successful, yeah, you keep that bitch at arm's length.
Oh yeah.
All right, you don't know, yeah, keep it at arm's length. You know, really vet her. Okay, like make sure she's the one. I mean, and if you're a Christian man, pray about it hard. Okay, and a lot of times those types of women, they'll tell on themselves. Once they kind of feel comfortable around you, they'll start little things will start slipping, like certain like phrases or certain tones in their voice. It'll start coming out, and then you'll know. You better be ready, and you better be ready to bounce out of there.
Think with this head,
Rip that, eject handle.
Oh yeah, think with this head, not the other one. Which trust me, when you get to a certain point, it's hard to do. I get it. But yeah, man, it's and in this case with the Trevor Bauer thing, honestly, if there were this bitch should go to jail. I'm sorry, like all these chicks who make these false allegations and they ruin these guys' reputations or careers, they need to go to prison.
Yes, absolutely.
They need to face
at the very least, equal whatever charge that they would try Trevor Bauer on, the same consequences should be applied to her.
That would be a huge step in the direction of like fixing some of the justice system in that way. It's like, okay, we're gonna take you seriously. We're gonna go through the justice system, and if it's proven that you falsely made these, like you knowingly made these false
claims and accusations,
you were gonna face the same judgment that they were gonna get. So if they were gonna get like 15 years in prison, well, guess what, bitch? You're going to face 15 years in prison.
Yeah, but they're not gonna do that because
of course they're never gonna do that. That would only be fair.
Yeah.
Because then
like in the past,
allegations would stop.
In the past, however many years since Me Too, I only know of one woman who got tried for making false accusations, and that was like this fat bitch in Australia or something.
Oh yeah, because everyone's like all over her with her cupcake pudding.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I think it was in Australia, but yeah, this woman, this fat, like literally fat bitch, went around making false rape accusations against men, and it ruined their lives. And then finally, she was actually charged, and she was actually sentenced to prison. And that's one case out of like however many cases there are that I can remember.
What is she like the Bobby Hill? It's like, get off my purse.
Something like that, yeah. But she's the only one that I can remember. Like that she facing the consequences of making false rape accusations.
Yeah, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, again, because it's not going to change because women are 50% of the population, and politicians will always cater to the women.
Yeah, that is very true. Wait, when are we gonna rebuild the 19th?
So funny. I had this conversation again with some friends at dinner last night. It's so funny because the girl, she agrees with me. She understands my argument. She's like, yeah, I agree with you, but if I don't like it, I agree with you.
But it's like you can't. I know it sucks that I'm right, but you can't deny it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, so women shouldn't have the right to vote. It's like, yeah, you have the right to vote, through your husband. It's like, oh, what if you're single? It's like, yeah, your father or your closest male relative. What's the problem?
To be honest, we need to have less people voting. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I even told them. Yeah, and then she tried to make the argument because I said like, oh yeah, well you're not. Women don't have to sign up for the draft. And she's like, well, I don't. She shifted the goalpost slightly and was trying to say like, oh, the caliber of men that we have today, I wouldn't want them to be in the military or whatever, blah blah blah. It's like that's not the point. It's like men regardless still have to do.
It doesn't matter.
The draft. Yeah. Nice try though, but I was like, no, it's like that's not the point. It's like men still have to do it regardless. Women don't.
Yeah. Trust me, you turn 18. I mean, I avoided having to sign up for the selective service because I joined the freaking military. But right. I would have had to have done that.
Yeah. And if I didn't do that,
they call it selective service now, but it's a draft.
It's a draft.
It's just a different way of putting it.
Yeah, it's just newspeak. But yeah, if I didn't sign up for the draft, then I wouldn't have the right to vote, and I wouldn't have access to federal loans for college.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. They don't talk about that either.
They don't talk about that either.
Crazy, man.
So yeah.
But yeah.
So gentlemen, guys, the tagline for Trojan condoms: protect yourself at all times.
Yeah. I think I said a few weeks ago. It's like sometimes whores tell the truth, but a lot of whores lie, just like in this case.
That's why we say sometimes whores tell the truth.
Keyword is sometimes.
I still want that to be a shirt.
Am I right?
I still want that to be a shirt.
So it's kind of remember those 7-Up commercials back in the day where it's like make 7 up yours in the back.
Yeah.
So the front would be like sometimes, but the back would be like, but a lot of times they lie.
Or like it would just be double emphasis, like sometimes horse tell the truth, and on the back like sometimes.
Oh. You know what? That's the better shirt. I like it.
I'm on fire tonight.
You are, dude. You're on fire today. I like it.
I can't. Yeah, the titles for like the discussion topics.
You're on a creative. You're doing some creative judo here.
I know, right?
There's a tagline.
There's a tagline. There's a tagline for you. All right. Are you?
No, that was it. That's what I just I kind of wanted. Like I said, I wanted to dovetail that into kind of like the relational aspect because I think that's interesting too. And yeah, it's like, listen, am I a conservative guy? Yes. Am I married? Yes. But man, I would not want to be in the dating world right now whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. And, And am I a conservative guy? Yeah. Am I married? No. So I know better than anybody what single Christian men are facing these days.
Yeah.
And sometimes like on the profiles of these women, they'll put Christian and then they'll put like all these like, oh, I want a guy who's this and this and this and that and that and that and like
got it.
What was that?
It's like, oh, so you're a gold digging whore. Got it. Okay.
I know, but just like even like they put like, oh yeah, but they put have this laundry list of requirements and then you try to get to know them. But I mean, at least this is in my experience, I'm left high and dry, like in the middle like of a conversation. Just recently, I was matched with this girl, and I was trying to have a conversation.